Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 3-year anniversary of Better Than Food book reviews. Thank you for watching. For all the ups and downs, mistakes, pretension, laziness, awkward narcissism, bad jokes, long pauses, and general fucking around, the goal has always been the same. And now, thinking about the topic of discussion today, it's cemented. It's simple. My goal with this whole project, with this channel, show, whatever you want to call it, is to get you to read books. That's it. It's to get you off YouTube. I do that by trying to give you examples of things that I've really enjoyed, that have meant a lot to me, that have really struck me, that I've found moving. It's not to show you how much smarter I am than you by showing you how many books I've read or plan on reading. Otherwise, you'd see a lot more content. The word gratitude may be overused, and it may make you, wince with the kind of woo-woo detection. It may be obnoxious to your ears, as it's probably overused by a lot of overly optimistic people. First off, I'm very grateful for the show and for the community and for all of you who are watching and supporting. Thank you so much. But I'm very grateful, in particular today, I'm very grateful to be able to read and write. And maybe it would be beneficial if you took a moment while watching or listening to this to try and feel the same. Because there's a giant chunk of people in the world who can't read or write. They just can't. What do I mean by a giant chunk? There are estimates from UNESCO at something like 750 million in the world. 750 million. That's just youths and adults, right? Many millions more children, Of course, many of these numbers come from impoverished or developing nations, but I'm not just talking about that. It hits closer to home than you may think. For example, take a guess at how many people can't read or write in the USA. Now, right now, today. Just a guess. 32 million. 32 million. 32 million people can't read or write in the USA. That's more than 1 in 10. Think about that. Think about how many of your neighbors can't actually read or write. People you see on the street every day. That's insane. To me, that's insane, Could be my sheltered mind, my sheltered little Western mind. Can't comprehend the numbers, but yeah, that's fucking crazy, man. This all started because I heard a statistic from a friend that she told me that 47% of Italy is functionally illiterate. And I couldn't believe that. I was like, no, that's gotta be fake. That can't be a real statistic. 47% of Italy being functionally illiterate. What? I mean, like 47, half of Italy can't read. Well, I looked it up, and there's a Wikipedia article referencing a human development report from the years 1994 to 2003. And that's where they got this number. Now, I don't know if that's just where it was at in 2003, and maybe if it's improved significantly since then, but that was not that long ago. Even if the numbers today are lower, I'm not sure how much things have changed. In the same article from those years, it said that 20% of the USA is functionally illiterate. So by definition, these may be people who are technically able to read and write, but not well enough to do most jobs. Whether it's from upbringing or IQ, I'm not sure, I don't know. But safe to say, these are folks who are not going home and cracking open Ulysses, There's a lot of people who don't read. They just don't read. Not everybody reads. And I forget that, I just forget that. Being in my sheltered little literary world of books, I just forget that that none of this shit matters to so many people around the world. In a lot of cases for good reason, because they're in the middle of, they're just trying to live. They're just like trying to make it to the next day. I get that, But, there's just a lot of normal people who can read, who actually can read at a pretty decent level, who just don't. The whole world doesn't read. The whole world is not necessarily interested in even obtaining the knowledge, It's shocking to me how undervalued reading is. Because reading is a fucking miracle. Reading is not like music or movies. It's not. Reading takes time, effort, a shitload of education, engagement. You have to do it. It's an action. It's not given to you. You don't press play. You have to process complex patterns on paper to interpret them via synaptic processes in your brain. Audiobooks, by the way, are not reading. They're fine, but they're not reading. You are not interpreting words on a printed page or screen. You aren't reading anything. You're using different senses, man. If an illiterate person can read it, it's not reading. Of course, I'm not saying that music and film are below books and reading. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying at all. However, I am saying they are easier to enjoy or experience. They are. Far easier. You press play. And for this reason, they may have less of an impact, especially now in the digital era, and carry this sort of disposability with them. Music is very accessible. Film and movies too. But books, my God. The story is encoded in symbols. Strange symbols that in no way visually represent the complex content they are forming in your mind, in your imagination, which may lead to other forms, to waking dreams. It may elicit moments from your childhood, remind you of other things, connect things, or create this holy catalyst, this holy catalytic moment. When you take these symbols and you put them in different places, when you organize them in certain ways, they form these pathways that through your interpretation can unlock spaces in your mind you didn't even know you could access, man. That shit is nuts. It's like drugs, right? Could unlock that moment when you form your own idea, which will eventually become its own novel or screenplay or haiku or poem or extremely clever tweet or 3,000 thumbs up YouTube troll comment. To generate synaptic processes leading to inspiration via symbols created who knows how many years ago, in the minds of hundreds of people, possibly thousands all over the world, is nothing short of fucking miraculous. The pen is mightier than the sword. Empires have fallen. We still have their books. I think Peterson said that recently. Now that they're in binary code, they may go on to be virtually immortal. What does that mean for you and I? It means the possibilities open to you, if you can read and write, are unfathomable. So, I consider myself infinitely fortunate. Infinitely fortunate. It wasn't my choice. It was a gift. It was given to me by my parents. Thanks, Mom and Dad. Especially thanks, Mom. I think one of my earliest memories is in Powell Books. I was so young. I must have been 4 or 5. Vast Borgesian library of books. And it was kind of like, I mean, it looks beautiful now, but back then it was totally rad, but it was rougher around the edges. Portland was generally rougher around the edges back then. And that was cool. It was just concrete everywhere. And I was so small. It was just... What an awakening. Yeah, that must have had something to do with this whole thing, without question, without a doubt. It was fate. If you have kids, please read to them. Read to them. Even if it's just, I don't know, Ferdinand the Bull. That was my favorite when I was a kid. If you make them fall in love with books, you've not only done a tremendous service to them, but maybe the world. Who knows? And if you can read the books I recommend, then do it, please. Or read some books. Read, even if you hate the books I recommend, read other books. Read the ones that you like. Please. Don't waste it. And be very grateful for it. Very grateful. You have so much wisdom available to you, it's staggering. It can make you dizzy. Like when you really start to think about it, it'll make you like sick. Like things you're not going to get on the internet, things you're not going to get from just YouTube and Facebook. You've got to use it. You've got to read. You've got to read. Don't waste it, please. Always remember what Werner Herzog said. Read, 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 read. Read, 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 read. Even if it is bullshit. It's better than nothing. Read it. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you're doing well. Go read something. Take care. See you soon. Ciao.